Hey there, Wayne Jennings here, and today I'm out paddling in the Massasauga Provincial Park. This is a water access only park located about 2 hours north of the city of Toronto. And basically, it's an island-studded park. There's all kinds of great campsites out on these little islands on Georgian Bay and very few portages. So it's a very easy place to go paddling if you're just new to the sport. So stick around and we'll show you what the park has to offer. So here's a little tip for your Massasauga Provincial Park trip. When you first arrive at the three-legged lake access route, there's lots of parking here. And you may leave your car there and wander over here and look up, and you'll see there's a sign behind me, which is an obvious portage sign. Now, the first instinct might be unload your car, carry all your gear down this trail. There is a trail behind me. It's about 500 meters long. It will take you to the water. However, the best idea, there's a road that goes down. So drive down, unload, then come back and park your car here for the duration of your trip. A short paddle across Three-Legged Lake brings you to a 370 meter long portage. Once you're over this well-maintained trail, you will be on Spider Lake and are now officially within the Massasauga Provincial Park. Now, Spider Lake is a pretty big lake and there are dozens of excellent campsites here. However, our destination lay a little further west, out in the waters of Georgian Bay, where we had reserved site number 111 for our first night.
Cheers. Cheers.
It was an easy paddle for our first day, and we celebrated with a grilled steak and a nice cold beer.
Yeah. I approve.
Good. And it's not ice cold, but it's cold enough.
Bring the bottle. That's right.
Day 2 on our Massasauga Provincial Park trip, and the weather is wonderful. Just to recap, we started yesterday at the north end of the park, entering at the Three-Legged Lake access point. From there, it's a short portage into Spider Lake. Now, there's lots of campsites on Spider Lake. A lot of people take advantage of that. But we've gone a little further, a portage that has taken us out into the waters of Georgian Bay. Camped out here last night, had a gorgeous sight. Woke up this morning and lovely sunny weather. Now, just to let you know, anyone who comes up here, there is cell service, so that's a good thing for safety reasons. I checked with the weather network and it showed a wonderful day ahead of us, only a 3% chance of rain, so that's good news. All of the inland lakes within the park are restricted to paddle-only watercraft. But once you venture out into Georgian Bay, you will encounter several summer cottages and many large powerboats. So just be extra cautious and watch out for any large waves. One nice thing about the Massasauga Provincial Park, there's a lot of lake travel and very little portages. Now, there are a few portages, but the nice thing about that is they're fairly short and they're easy to find. Nice big signs, easy to see from a distance. And there's lots of information on these signs. For instance, this one tells you the distance, so you know how far it is, and also tells you what lake you're starting at and what lake you're ending at. That way you know exactly where you are. By midday, many of the campsites have been vacated, leaving them open for hungry paddlers to stop and enjoy a shore lunch. The Massasauga Provincial Park is a great park for people who are maybe just starting out with backcountry canoeing. It's an easy place to explore. First of all, it's within a 2-hour drive of southwestern Ontario and the major cities in that area. It's easy to get to, but it's not, it's wilderness camping, but it's not like Algonquin or Killarney, or certainly nothing like Quetico. It is wilderness, but it has a few amenities. For instance, every campsite has a picnic table, there's a metal fire pit, there's usually a level area to set up your tent, and of course there's a thunderbox. The other really nice thing is you know exactly where you're going to be each night because you reserve a specific campsite. So you know ahead of time how far you have to travel each day, how long it's going to take you. So my recommendation is this is a really good park for anyone interested in wilderness backcountry exploration, especially if you're new and just trying it for the first time.
Yahoo! Oh, that's good.
It's day 3 here in the Massasauga Provincial Park, and it's looking like another gorgeous morning. Some sun, a bit of clouds. Unfortunately, the forecast is calling for 80% chance of rain later today. So the plan is to get our campsite set up before those rains begin. We don't have nearly as far to go today, about 8 kilometers of paddling out here on Georgian Bay before we come to a small portage that will take us into Clear Lake. So right now, everything's looking good for a day on the water. Well, as predicted, the rain has started. Luckily, it didn't really start till we got onto this portage, so walking through the woods, we were pretty much protected. But now we're out here on Clear Lake, so we've got out the rain suits to protect us. It's not heavy, but it's raining enough that these will keep us dry for a while. After that last portage, it wasn't a very long paddle to this campsite. Unfortunately, it's still raining, so it's a good thing we got here when we did. Now we've set up a tarp back here, as you can see. Always a good thing to bring a tarp in your kit because you never know. It's not a very big one, but big enough to keep us dry. So we're gonna make some lunch, maybe mix up a drink and wait for the rain to stop. After a few hours, the rains had passed, and we hung up all our wet things to dry. The monotonous din of the downpour was now replaced by a symphony of songbirds as the forest came back to life. After an evening meal, we sat ourselves down at the water's edge and gazed out across the expanse of clear lake that lay before us. The last of the storm clouds began to disappear, and the sun slowly re-emerged. Before heading out on our last day, I sat down with my buddy, Chris Burke, to get his thoughts on this park. Now, Chris is no stranger to wilderness paddling, but this was his first time exploring the Massasauga.
I would definitely recommend this to someone who's starting out or has a little bit of knowledge, particularly map reading is important to a certain degree. You can get into some good sites and some good lakes without a lot of portage. And for those who are more adventurous, you can go out further into the bay, into the big water, and get your fill of that as well. The park is nice. The campsites, having an assigned number at your campsite for that night, I think is a real plus. It gives you the day to explore. You don't have to race off your campsite in the morning and hope you can find something on another lake. So I think that's a real plus. The only thing I guess could be a drawback to some people who are looking for more of a wilderness adventure is because we're in Georgian Bay, which is a holiday boater's paradise, there can be in certain areas a lot of boat traffic, and that noise can be a little invasive. That would be the only drawback that I can see.